Russia has always been famous for its jewels. Carl Fabergé's workshops used to supply masterpieces to crowned persons of Russia, England, France, Germany, Japan, and even Nepal. Wives of American billionaires appeared in jewelry produced in the Russian Empire. However, the diamonds mounted in the jewelry had nothing to do with Russia. They were all cut of rough imported from Brazil or British colonies. There was a specialized courier service delivering gems to Moscow, and then they were further distributed to jewelry factories and workshops. The situation persisted up to the 1960s. Then the Soviet Union felt a need for not only gem diamonds, as its science and technologies were developing. It was the start of a space era. However, in the 1950s and 1960s, the Soviet Union purchased diamonds for another purpose as well. It was an investigation into the world diamond market situation, prices and sales outlook. The country was planning to enter the world diamond market, and the plans were well grounded. It was back in the 18th century that Mikhail Lomonosov wrote, "We shall search for metals, gold, silver, and other minerals. We shall get to heavy stones, slate, and even to emeralds, rubies, and diamonds. Judging by plentiful indications, I conclude that the nature in our northern lands reigns generously and prosperously. There is supposition that the flashing stone mentioned in Yakutian legend is nothing else but diamond." In the 1930s, the Yakutian teacher and amateur of the local law, Pyotr Starovatov, insisted there were plenty of minerals in the Viluy region. His memos went to all kinds of authorities. However, the learned opinion was not quick to come from academic walls. In the 1930s, young geologist Sobolev put forward a theoretical supposition that the Siberian platform can contain diamond reserves. In 1937, geologist Burov explored the Yenisseisky Ridge and found a splinter of a big diamond in the basin of Nizhnaya Tunguska River. However, apart from those single diamonds, systematic geological exploration was needed to confirm the theory. In the early 40s, the war interfered with the intentions to start diamond exploration in the Siberian platform. A lot of geologists volunteered for the army. In 1947, the work finally started, of course after Stalin's personal consideration. Stalin met chairman of the Council of Ministers of Yakutia, Borisov. Evidently, Borisov managed to convince Stalin of the need for systematic geological exploration in Yakutia. Stalin assigned the issue to Malenkov, who listened to Borisov's scientific argumentation that the Siberian platform could bear huge diamond reserves, but full-scale search was procrastinated as the Academy of Sciences would not give any response to the applications. Just one telephone call by Malenkov was enough to prompt the solution, and systematic diamond prospecting commenced in Yakutia. In June 1948, field crew number 1 of the Amakinskaya exploration expedition, headed by G. Feinstein, arrived in Tuoy-Haya. It was as soon as the 7th of August 1949 that geologists found the first diamond and discovered a diamond placer at the Viluy River. 1 year later, they found a 3-carat diamond with several dozen smaller stones at the river. In the summer of 1953, Leningrad geologists Natalia Sarasatsky and Larisa Popugayeva found a lot of purple crystals in samples from the basins of the Markha and Daltin rivers. At first they took the crystals for garnets, but those turned out to be pyrobes, quite as those associated with diamonds in African kimberlites. It was decided to base further prospecting efforts on pyrobes. With the help of the pyrope indicators, Larisa Popugayeva and her guide Fyodor Belikov discovered the first diamond deposit, a kimberlite pipe that got a symbolic name of Zarnitsa, or summer lightning. In June 1955, a small team of Vladimir Avdenko, Yuri Khabardin and Yekaterina Yelagina pitched camp at the Irilyak River. Before dawn, Vladimir Avdiyenko found a small diamond tracing pyropes in the riverbed. On the following day, after 12 hours of committed work, Khabardin and Yelagina found a fox burrow under a larch with something glittering inside. Ekaterina Yelagina. We noticed a very small kimberlite fragment among the slug heaps from a distance. It was the only compact kimberlite piece which the fox must have thrown out when digging the burrow. The ore fragment from the burrow contained an eye of pyrope. It was diamondiferous kimberlite. On the 12th of June 1955, the guide Ivlev brought a historic message to the settlement of Novy to be telegraphed. We are smoking the pipe of peace. The tobacco is superb. Avdiyenko, Yelagina, Khabardin. The text of the telegram, that could appear of no sense to outsiders, meant much to the head of the expedition. To smoke the pipe stood for a primary diamond deposit, and superb tobacco meant that the deposit was rich. Over the first few days, Khabardin and Yelagina found 113 diamond crystals. The discoverers hewed some rind off the larch to inscribe the Mir pipe, the Russian for pipe of peace, 13th of June 1955. During the same summer, the local map was amended once again, as a team headed by geologist Shukin found two more pipes named Udachnaya and Sitikanskaya. The first commercial operations began at the Mir pipe. Everything was done from scratch. Geologists had to specify the size of the pipe and develop a method to extract diamonds from kimberlite ore. Construction work started on the left bank of the Irilyak River to establish a settlement called Mirny after the Mir pipe. In autumn, the construction of a pilot ore treatment plant to process samples began. Chuhai Shan. When electrodes came to an end, we welded them as we had 200mm nails, a whole box of them, and we needed to coat them with something, not to let them close the circuit. So we had to use ashes, granulated sugar, and white clay. And we coated and dried them, thus completed the whole thing and put the plant into operation. The construction work continued until heavy frosts set in, and when they came, ore treatment personnel put up a tent that could house 20 people and started preparing equipment for the washing season. Nikitin. Perhaps it is the only case in the world mining practice of not only diamonds but other minerals as well, that a factory was built and production commenced within such a short term. Meanwhile, the situation in the Mirny settlement was difficult. The winter of 1955 and 56 was very severe, with frosts up to minus 60 degrees Celsius. Foodstuffs were over. People were short of even salt and matches and used coals to maintain fire. A meeting in an unfinished canteen decided to apply to the management of the Amakinska expedition to send a tractor and sledge train and to start building a road to meet the train halfway. The train moved straight through the taiga, and people with axes and saws went in front of it. They made an opening and cleaned the snow. After them, tractors and cars trailed as slow as tortoises. And the inhabitants of Mirny cut the forest from their end to meet the train. When there was only a 2-day food ration left, the train and the workers from the settlement met. In February 1956, a public announcement was made of Yakutian diamonds during the 20th Communist Party Congress. The whole world discussed the Siberian diamonds while people still lived in tents in Mirny and continued their mining and construction efforts. As time passed, new residential houses, warehouses, a canteen, a club, a shop and a public bathhouse were built. Finally, a local post office was opened.
Мы с тобою, зорька ясная, будем вместе навсегда. Мы с тобою, зорька ясная, будем вместе.
Konstantin Kurbatov. Overnight we made a door, knocked up a ladder up to it and put a sign, post office, just as now. On the 20th of March 1956, first telegrams and letters with postmarks saying Mirny, Yakutian Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, were sent from the Novy settlement. By the end of the year, the population of Mirny was 700 people. On the 4th of January 1957, the Yakut Almaz Trust was established. Viktor Tikhonov was appointed managing director of the trust. Valery Rudakov, I still consider him to be one of my teachers. He was a unique person. Not just as a production manager, he was unique as an engineer and a specialist. He was unique in educating younger people, new employees, and he trained people to succeed him. We were a group of 5 or 6 people with him, and we all grew to be managers of Yakut Almaz. He told us, guys, you work hard, and I'll coach you to succeed me. Those were Tikhonov's words. In March 1957, the construction of the first pilot commercial ore treatment plant started not far from the Mir kimberlite pipe. Three years later, geologists Izarov and Cherny discovered a very rich deposit called Aykhal. Georgy Kadzov became director of the Aykhal mine. He was a man of practice with intuition that could often surpass any technical knowledge, who was not afraid of taking daring decisions. It was a great quality under the specific conditions of the North, where standard solutions could not work. Just 8 months after the start of construction efforts, commercial production of diamonds commenced from the Aykhal mine. Evgeny Cherny. All the years were difficult. You cannot expect easy years there. Those who say things are so easy and simple in the North are insincere. Everything is difficult in the North. It just cannot be easy. And people get kind of selected there, those who are decent. People who are not afraid of difficulties, who are ready to support you any moment. From Kadzov's reminiscences of emergency repairs on a frozen pipeline, the plumber started drawing a shroud over the crack. Water sprayed far around and turned into ice drops immediately. We saw the man getting covered with an ice coat. He worked by touch, hiding his face from burning spurts of ice-cold water. After that, people put the stiffened plumber on a stretcher and took him to the factory. When reading these reminiscences, you can genuinely feel the meaning of the saying, people are harder than diamonds. After Nikita Khrushchev was displaced, Alexei Kosygin was appointed chairman of the Council of Ministers. He understood the importance of the diamond mining industry for the national economy and took it under his personal control. Kosygin often received Yakut Almaz general directors Soldatov and Rudakov. At the time, personal contacts could help solve more issues than tons of office communications. Soldatov insisted at all levels of authority on developing towns and settlements and providing social amenities. In the middle 1960s, a government commission took a decision to accelerate construction of the third ore treatment plant in Mirny. On the 16th of July 1966, plant number 3 recovered its first diamonds. It was an important achievement in terms of the whole national economy. Sometimes people happen to find diamonds just with the naked eye. This is how the Gornyak or minor diamond was found. Excavator operator Koroblov found it right in the Mir open pit. He saw something shining in the headlights, jumped out of the excavator and picked up a sparkling crystal. It turned to be a gem diamond, unique in its beauty. It was named Gornyak in honor of the excavator operator and thousands of his co-workers. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, diamond miners went on developing subpolar regions. For example, they started commercial production from the Udachnaya pipe that was discovered as far back as in the 50s. First a mine and then an ore treatment plant were built. Construction of ore treatment plant number 11 started. As to Udachny settlement, mainly sectional blocks of flats were built there, nothing special but with good amenities. These were no architectural masterpieces, but people did not have to live in barracks. On June 5, 1969, a very rich kimberlite pipe was discovered near Mirny called Internationalная. When production figures fell behind planned targets in Mirny, additional teams were sent to the Internationalная mine, and in a few days they could report that the plan was fulfilled. Borodin, if you take a ton of ore, then per 1 ton of the Internationalная ore, you'll have to take 2 tons of the Mir ore, or 4 tons of the Aichal ore, or 8 tons of the Udachная ore. Internationalная is a unique pipe as to its diamond grade and quality. There are just 2 or 3 pipes like that, all in all, in global terms. In the 1980s, negative trends dominated the economy that relied only on raw materials exports. The national budget was supported by oil dollars, with natural rough exports forming the 3rd largest revenue item after oil and gas. For the diamond industry, it meant both special attention from the government and constant requirements to increase production. When managers of Yakutalmas would ask what was the use of producing more diamonds than the country could sell, the answer from the upper echelons of power would be that in state stocks, gems would be safer. Production tasks became more difficult as mining and geological conditions aggravated, together with an energy crisis in western Yakutia. Despite its extreme working conditions, the Mir deposit gave more and more excellent diamonds. On December 23, 1980, the biggest Yakutian diamond, weighing 342 carats, was recovered and named the 26th Communist Party Congress. The 2nd largest stone was also found in the Mir pipe and christened the Star of Yakutia. On December 8, 1991, the Soviet Union ceased to exist. 3 days later, a big diamond weighing 241.8 carats was delivered to the Russian diamond stock. It got a symbolic name of Free Russia. What was no less symbolic, it was a technogenic fragment of a bigger crystal. In late 1992, Yakutalmas terminated its activities to reassign its obligations to the joint stock company Almazy Russi Sakha. It was a new stage in the diamond mining industry in Russia. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, its economy was on the verge of catastrophe. Inflation ruined a lot of industrial and agricultural enterprises, and it had the same effect on Yakutia. Inflation annihilated working capital, so even the most prosperous enterprises had to reduce production. Alrosa was not immune from financial problems either. In the mid and late 1990s, it could not pay regular wages, and strikes were about to start. A wide media campaign was launched against the company, questioning its rights to its products and its cooperation with De Beers. Vyacheslav Shtyrov. The company was just established. Could we enter the world market? No one knew us there. Neither had we any instruments of free diamond marketing, so we had to establish own sales offices and train specialists. That was why we took the decision then that we needed an agreement with De Beers. And for De Beers, it was also very beneficial at the time to help Alrosa, as they could foresee that as soon as Alrosa withdrew from diamond sales, then the trends that I mentioned would prevail. I mean, diamond smuggling from Russia was putting on pace at that time. The establishment of Almazy Russi Sakha helped to retain state control over the diamond mining industry. However, those who wished to control diamond sales, both in Russia and globally, did not fade away. That was a threat for the development of Alrosa. Without control over its own sales, the company could not become competitive on the world market. The law on precious metals and precious stones was of great importance. Now, holders of mining permits could get leases to their holdings. The law established the most important diamond miners' right, their title to their mining production. Just 10 years after its foundation, Alrosa doubled its production with its diamond sales increasing up to nearly $2 billion. By 2004, diamond mining had turned into a major industry in Russia. A presidential decree that came into effect in 2003 and a number of amendments to the current legislation enabled diamond miners to succeed in the world market. At present, Russia mines about 1/4 of the world diamond output. The diamond industry facilitates the promotion of Russian interests abroad as Alrosa develops the Katoka deposit in Angola and negotiate joint diamond exploration and production operations in Congo and Canada. Recently, it commenced diamond production in the Arkhangelsk region, as a new factory was commissioned at Europe's largest Lomonosov deposit. The prophecy of the great Russian scholar came true in his native land. Alexander Nichiforuk. The main emphasis is placed on maintaining production level, construction of underground operations, and first of all, on exploration. Alrosa is now developing a concept of a national mining company, and it is a significant target for us. Mining companies are challenged by stretching functions and goals now, as resources become scarcer and investment needs grow, including those into the infrastructure. Such goals can be achieved only by powerful companies supported by the state. The territory of Yakutia makes up 1/5 of Russia. The permafrost hides practically the whole periodic chart. Its developing industry creates jobs, provides for people's well-being and their confidence in the future. Diamond miners make regular investments into the social infrastructure. Young people can now get high-quality secondary and higher education without traveling to the mainland, as they say. Alexei Kudrin. Alrosa provides a living perhaps for several cities and towns in Russia, gives jobs to dozens of thousands of people. Under our planned economy, it was a currency department pumping out money for other purposes. For the army, perhaps for currency imports of equipment. But at present we should care more for people who live and work in Yakutia. As it is in this year that Alrosa celebrates its 50th anniversary, I'm sure it will be as powerful a company in the next 50 years. Myrny is the home of a third generation of diamond miners already. There are plenty of dynasties here where diamond professions are inherited by children from their fathers and by grandchildren from their children. The Kurbatovs is one of such dynasties. Konstantin Kurbatov is now 80. He started his career in Myrny in 1959 at an ore treatment factory and a local post office. His son Konstantin was born in Yakutia, went into the processing business, and now he's head of the diamond sorting center that handles practically all the diamonds mined in this country. His grandson Sergei works in Moscow. He's a cutter, and his hands give life to most wonderful polished stones. Our country can boast a number of extremely important achievements, like the breakthrough into space, the establishment of the military-industrial complex, and development of oil and gas deposits. The success of our diamond industry is a result of national importance. It was just 2 years after the Yakutalmas Trust was established that the country started selling diamonds on the world market. At present, Russia is a major diamond exporter. This is the high post of its 50-year diamond course. Produced by Propaganda Studio by order of the Alrosa Company.